Welcome to this video, new part of opening disasters. Yeah, this game was chosen, particularly this game was chosen because I was present when it was played. So this is why I picked exactly this game. I could have picked others because this particular sequence of moves has occurred quite a number of times. The critical position around move 14 has been played in a ton of Grandmaster games, which shows that you can very easily stumble into this. You could say, okay, move 14, all kinds of things can happen up to then. True, but the sequence that does lead to this disastrous situation is very, very logical and natural, can easily happen. I had this in Blitz games a number of times, for instance, as white. Let's look at the game. Yeah, and by the way, to add some information, this was played in 2001 in a playoff event for the Dutch team competition. It was between, I think, then champion Breda and probably Hilversum. And the two players were Hans Reh for white, a veteran grandmaster. He's close to 70 years old now. Back then he was in his late 50s, still he wasn't like a top player at the time anymore. I mean, age is taking its toll, but still very decent player with 2,400 something. And black player was Jeroen Piket. At the time, still an active player. He nowadays is retired. He played his last tournament a game in 2003, if my database is correct. He retired to become the personal assistant of Joop van Oosterom, maybe known to some people as the guy who's responsible for sponsoring the tournament series like Melody Amber, those kinds of rapid tournaments. He's not doing that anymore, but he also became the world correspondence chess champion, where it is commonly believed that actually Piket was playing that. Okay, but let's not get to that too much. We get a Queen's Indian defense, normal opening, of course. Everything's fine for black. And what black is doing is playable, but it entails some risk. We see later. This is our normal e3, bishop b7, bishop d3, c5. Yeah, here black has a choice in this particular position. He should decide between three main ways to play. Playing with c5, as he did in the game. Play with d5, that's the main move. Or you can also simplify matters a bit by giving this check. Yeah, like bishop d2 and taking, or knight d2, c5. Possible. c5 is a playable choice, but it entails some risk. We will see why. Castles, bishop e7, knight c3. Yeah, here black must be cautious. If he castles, then white can use this opportunity to play d4, d5. And this is not a very, very good position for black. The problem is that the bishop on b7 is not really well placed for any Benoni structure. If we consider something like that, this is like a modern Benoni where the bishop is bad on b7, biting at this pawn. And additionally, we have the bishop on e7, which is also completely wrong in the Benoni. It wants to be on g7 to do something on the diagonal. Yeah, what about the pawn? Can black take? Yeah, he can, theoretically speaking, but
check.
This trade is quite advantageous for white. Yeah, due to two reasons. The d5 square is very weak. Black has a weak d pawn, which can be a problem. And what you shouldn't underestimate is Black is lacking his h pawn, so his king is also a little bit insecure. This is not like an immediate mating attack, but this can be a problem later on if White has activated his pieces. Let's say bishop here, e4, rook d1. There could be some mating attack coming. Not a very good position. So Black takes on d4, which is very sensible due to this d4, d5 idea. Takes, and now again Black has a choice. If he castles, he allows d5 again. This is a little bit different, of course, as now we have c and e pawn traded. Still, White should have a good game here. He's limiting this bishop considerably. What else is there? Black, instead of castles, he can also go d6, playing in the style of the hedgehog. Here, however, White has the idea to play d5 again. Yeah, Black here cannot take the pawn at all due to this check.
Check.
Blundering everything. But normally plays e5 here. And this is an interesting structure with the bishop here being again badly placed. White has some interesting options. He can go for f4. It's an interesting position to play. I think White should be a little bit better. White can also play just rook e1 and continue from here with bishop f4 or b3, bishop b2, those kind of ideas. d6, however, is a pretty stubborn defense. d5 is the more classical looking move, and it is still playable, but very, very difficult for Black to play now. White captures, knight takes, and knight e5. This is the key thing about this specific line. Black has played a very quick b6 and bishop b7, and in this situation with knight e5, White in fact has a very strong threat, bishop b5 check. Yeah, and this threat basically forces Black to castle short now, which of course looks perfectly normal, and at first you do not really see what the problem could be. But it has in fact some problems, this move. White now has a choice. He has two promising continuations. He can play as it was played in the game, queen h5, or he can play queen g4. And this is a reason why this whole setup is so dangerous for Black. White is getting the queen involved in the kingside attack very early, and this, as we see in the game, can lead to a very, very quick defeat. Just to prepare you what's coming, the game is over in 5 moves. So can be very quick defeat. Yeah, it's not totally clear if queen h5 or queen g4 is better. I probably would prefer queen g4, but it's both interesting. Queen h5, let's look at this. This was played in the game. Yeah, how should Black react now? It is already critical, as well, it's a mate threat. And yeah, what should he play? In the game he played knight f6. One of the moves that is played there. There also is g6. And this move could be the reason why queen g4 is more precise, as after g6, White is not having like a winning continuation. He has many promising continuations, but there is nothing that really promises him a big advantage. Queen g4 in this way is a bit better. After queen g4, Black has an additional idea, however, the move f5, which looks ugly, but at least avoids immediate disaster. Yeah, queen h5. Let's look what happened in the game. Black played knight f6, which is still possible. It's not like decisive, but it gets very problematic, at least for Black. Queen h4. Yeah, and in this position, Black now went with knight c6. That looks totally normal, right? But in fact, this leads to big problems. Here, black alternatively can play knight e4. An interesting move. Discovered attack. After queen h3, black can consider to take, after which bishop f4 is played. And all this is very, very sharp, but not totally clear. Not totally clear. Black is risking quite something with playing this line, but it's not clear that he needs to be, or that he really should be punished here. Knight e4 is interesting. He went knight c6, however, and now after bishop g5, we see that again this mate threat is looming on h7. How should black defend now? If he plays h6, as played for example by top Czech grandmaster David Navarra some years ago, he was still a young player then, white is going bishop f6, queen e4. And this is very embarrassing. Mate threat, and the knight is hanging. So after g6, knight c6, Navarra was just losing a piece for no compensation. Very quick way to lose. Yeah, what else is there? Yeah, g6 was played in the game. Yeah, black can play knight takes e5. The big point being that after bishop f6, mate threat on h7 can be answered by knight takes d3. Yeah, the consequence is quite clear. White will take the exchange here. Bishop e7, queen moves somewhere, not sure. Let's say here, takes. And in this position, white is simply an exchange up. It's really just an exchange. Black has chances to continue the fight. He probably will get one pawn on b2 or d4, but it's really just an exchange. This has also been played in GM games, yeah, where black was just trying to fight on with an exchange down. Yeah, why knight takes e5? An exchange down is not so attractive. Yeah, look at this. After g6, which was played in the game, white now has a great move available. If you don't know the whole thing, you might treat it as a little exercise and try to find the best continuation here for white. If you want, you can stop the video and I'll be silent for a moment. Yeah, white now has a winning continuation, and it's all based on the fact that there is big pressure on c6, e7, f6. This kind of pressure now can be used with the very nice move bishop a6. And yeah, after that, black is really losing. There is really no way around it anymore. Black now has no defense. Yeah, the first simple idea is, of course, if black takes on a6, we grab here and we'll win the house. Yeah, queen moves.
Check.
And it's a piece, and also the queen, because queen h6 is coming otherwise. Black cannot take on a6. Yeah, so what should black play really? Yeah, in the game he took on e5, but we can look at alternatives. What else is there? In some games h6 was tried, for example by Judith Polgar. Yes, Judith Polgar, the top female player for 25 years now retired since a couple of weeks. Yeah, she's a super strong GM, and she also stumbled into this line in 2010. Yeah, h6 looks crazy, yeah, but what should you do? Queen h6 is the refutation of this idea, and after knight g4 you play this neat little move. Yeah, it's really a bit mind-boggling because everything hangs, but there is simply so much stuff hanging on the black side that he or she in this case cannot defend. If we look at knight g takes e5, for example, bishop b7, there is really nothing that black can do. If black takes here, we grab here, and if we do a quick count, white is a pawn up and is a double, is double attacking those two, so we will win at least an exchange. Yeah. In the game, if we want to look what happened to Polgar, how exactly did it went? Did it go? Bishop h6. Her opponent, Grandmaster Halkias, took with the bishop. Also a good move. Knight e5. And bishop takes b7. Yeah, here white is also winning after this. Queen h3, queen d4. Takes, and rook d1. Yeah, white is an exchange up, and he only needs to be a bit cautious that those active knights are not causing any trouble, but it's still an exchange. Yeah, black really has no defense. If we look at last thing to look at, if we look at this, white is just retreating here with the queen, and after knight c3, bishop b7 again hangs, and hangs. It's too much. Black is losing decisive material. Yeah, in the game here, Piket took on e5, and we should, that's important actually, need to add that this was a rapid game. Yeah, it wasn't. It was a 30-minute game, so the opening moves were played very quickly, and Piket really stumbled into this. I remember that I was watching the whole thing. It was after our own games had finished, and this game was basically over. It started and it was over. And I was quite surprised to see to this line being played. I knew of this this opening trap, and was surprised to see it on such a high level game. It's funny. Ray had this earlier, years ago, in the early 80s, in a game against Walter Brown. Okay, knight takes e5 was played, and white now captured. And here, after d takes e5, Piket already resigned. Yeah, there is absolutely no move now. Knight d5 is just answered by bishop e7 and something like this. It's just a piece. Yeah, and if black takes here, we grab f6, and this is an intermediate move that will kill black. There's also the mate, so it's useless to continue this fight. So Piket resigned after only 15 moves. Yeah, it's a very nice variation, this whole thing for white, and it really happens quite often. I was experimenting a while ago. I was experimenting with the Colle system, with this opening here, and it's quite remarkable. Quite often people played c5, bishop d3, b6, castles, bishop b7, c4. I very often got to the line in this fashion, and I got the same attacking ideas going. So this is one point of the Colle system. If black is playing like that, you have some rather interesting ideas, but you should definitely go with a c4 approach here and not play the relatively passive move c3 or knight d2. This is really much more promising in comparison. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed this, and maybe you get an idea to to incorporate this kind of playing idea in your white repertoire. And well, something probably to avoid is black as well. Okay, I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching.